Man United have got everything wrong. See, we can criticise them in many, many ways, and there's loads of things that are wrong at United. I always say it's way more than just one thing, it's lots of things. But one thing you can add on to it is the transfer and the recruitment of the vast amount of money they've spent that have led to nowhere. You know, a very underachieving team. And look, Brighton, the Bloom family have done amazing well. You know, just done amazing. Tony Bloom as an owner, very understated the way he carries on, a bit like Matthew Benham at your place. You know, just these owners who really know what they want. They identify a model. They will have a wage structure that will not be broken. And they look at the men. I mean, the lad who, Cucurella, when he scored just in, and his interview after the game.
Yeah.
I mean, if there ever was a player that cared so much about being somewhere, talked about how unhappy and the club helped him and difficult when he first come to England. I mean, it was just a great interview.
You know what you mentioned there about team, and I think that's the key word in this conversation when you're discussing both sides. You feel as though Brighton are a team. This is a team of players all working for each other. You don't get that at Manchester United. They have bought individuals who are still individuals on the pitch. Yeah,
they brought a load of individuals. Most of them signed new contracts. Some of them don't want to be there. And the ones that have been kept on are not good enough. Now, McTominay has... I mean, how long's he been at Man United? It's been like 6 years since his debut. He's gone downhill faster than Franz Klammer. Okay, Franz Klammer was a skier of the highest order, right? We could say Eddie the Eagle for the younger listeners, but he has gone down...
I'm not sure the younger listeners will know Eddie the Eagle.
Okay, but do you know what I mean? But you... I mean, I'm showing my age now, Nat, but look, you could list about 5 or 6 players who are going backwards, and you could name some of the Brighton players. You could say, oh, United could have bought them. Well, they could have, but they'd have probably gone backwards at United. You know, they're not going backwards at Brighton because the club has been run so well. And you give a lot of credit to the manager, Graham Potter, how he's nurtured them. Lamptey, I mean, he was brilliant. I mean, had a bad injury, but was bought for just over $1 million. You know, wow, Nat, you know, I find
chalk and cheese, isn't it?
It's just the models are so different, but one is brilliantly manufactured to make a team successful. And we haven't even mentioned what gone on in the game because everybody said it. Scott Minto and Sam were doing the commentary yesterday, and I was listening and I'd watched the game, and I sort of had it on both, and it's like, you know, what can you say? What can you add to what is a terrible team? You've got to break it up. You've got to rip it apart. You really have to.
Well, it's Eric Ten Hag that's got to do all that.
That's his job.
He's got to do the big rebuild.
Here's one for you, Nat.
Yeah, go on.
Ten Hag is probably thinking, I'm leaving an Ajax team that is better than this United team by quite a way. By quite a distance. He's probably thinking that. Because he'd be lying. I mean, Ajax are a better team by,
well,
factually.
He's leaving a club that he today could win the Eredivisie. Yeah. That's the situation.
People will say, well,
the standard of football might be debatable, might be different. But, he's leaving a well-run club, a club that dominates, and has done for so very, very long, to a club that, for the 5th time in 30 years, will not compete in Europe's top competition, because after that result, mathematically, they cannot now overtake Spurs or Arsenal. It was always going to be a tall order for them to do that anyway, because they played a number of games more than both of those North London sides, but they had an outside chance, and they are just... I mean, I can't imagine what Man United fans are going through when they're watching them.
They're delighted at the end of the season.
Yeah, of course. They want the season to come to an end, and they've only got one game left. They've got to play Palace away on the final weekend of the season, which is 2 weekends' time. Yeah. So they've got a bit of a break.
Factually, now, they are the worst team that United have had in the Premier League with a points return. Now they are. So we talked about this a few weeks ago.
Is Ralph Rangnick at fault for all of this as well? In some way? I know he's not had a full season with them, but he came in and there was a big hope that he could transform them. Now, he didn't really get anything to spend in January, even though he wanted to spend, but for whatever reason, the board decided they weren't going to do that. Do you have sympathy for him? Is his career tarnished by what has happened at United?
It's a bit weird that you beat Brentford. Brentford got beat by Man United,
and they were very good.
And he ends up going with pretty much the same team, and way off. I mean, he's probably thinking, where is the team that beat Brentford? That's a million miles away. What we saw yesterday. I would make the point that probably they are the worst team that's made the top 6 I've ever seen.
the worst
team. They're going to get the 6th spot. They'll get that. To make the top 6, they're the worst top 6 team I've seen for a number of years. I can't think of anyone poorer.